Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to this Elimination Chamber 2018 review video. I have got loads to talk about, and the first thing I want to talk about is Rowdy Ronda Rousey. I am a massive Rowdy Ronda Rousey fan, and I thought this segment was absolutely brilliant. This is hard to book, because, there's a lot of people out there that feel that Ronda's just being given these opportunities. She's one of the baddest women in the world. They can do no wrong when it comes to Ronda Rousey, in my opinion. She has definitely earned these opportunities. But there's parts of the WWE universe that don't feel that way. Fair enough. And I thought they did a good job of, they were talking about Roddy Piper and, her kind of connections to him. It does feel like, it might sound cheesy, but it feels like he has sent her here. From the text, the font style, and, the graphics, and the fact that, she came out in his jacket at the Royal Rumble. And obviously she's had meetings with his family, and it's a really strong connection. So I'm really into that. She hasn't turned up not knowing anything about wrestling. She's a big fan. There's obviously the picture doing the rounds of when she met Roddy Piper and got his blessing to use that Rowdy nickname. So yeah, they kind of touched on that a bit. And then also they were talking about the fact that the contract has got no perks. I doubt that's true, but it's a message that they're getting across. Also on the Raw talk afterwards, they mentioned that she was changing in the same locker room as all the other women. She wasn't changing in her own locker room, her own dressing room or anything. So again, not sure if that's true, but that's the story that they're trying to tell. Could be true, for all I know. I'm not too sure. So, yeah, there was enough in there. I mean, she was uncomfortable at first, tripping over her words a little bit. Triple H and Steph weren't perfect. Steph interrupted Triple H at one point, and that was a little bit clunky. So the start of this just felt off. Not a disaster, but it felt off. Kurt Angle as well, kind of speaking out. There was no reason for him to speak out, but he did. I'll be very interested to see why. Maybe he's just, he knows the truth. He knows the things that have been said behind closed doors, and he doesn't agree with the fact that they're telling lies. They're not being honest to Ronda, because he was saying that, they'd called her a has-been, she was washed up, all that kind of stuff. And so that's kind of how this all kicked off. She was very happy, smiley, emotional at one point. I was really buying into the fact that she, loved being there and loved the affection the crowd was showing her. There was a Ronda Rousey chant which broke out. I don't know if that was WWE starting that themselves or if it was genuine audience members. But for me, it worked. I was totally on board with everything that was being said at the start, and her connections to wrestling, blah 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 blah. How much it meant to her. Yes, it was stumbly, but then it really hit its groove. And when she changed, when that look came over her face, and it was business time, it just went to a different level. Obviously, Triple H comes in, and he gets put through a table. Steph comes in the ring, slaps Ronda Rousey. Rousey glares at Steph. Ronda didn't need to do anything else. Steph left the ring. She walked away. She knew from that look, just walk away. I need to walk away. I don't need to be in this ring. It was a big segment, and it laid the foundation work. On Raw Talk, Steph was saying, she's pleased that Ronda's here. Yes, Ronda's going to have to apologise. And, again, planting those seeds. There's no way Ronda Rousey's apologising. We're clearly building towards a match at WrestleMania. Triple H, Stephanie McMahon versus Ronda Rousey. And I would say Kurt Angle at this stage. Not too sure how I feel about it. As I say, let me know in the comments below. You know, do you agree with Kurt being the partner? Or should it be someone like Seth Rollins? That's who I would prefer to see. Or maybe even Finn Balor. I'm not sure what's going to be in store for those guys. Because as we know, they were not successful in the men's Elimination Chamber match. And we will get to that in a bit. So there was a pre-show match. Gallows and Anderson versus The Miz Taraj. Gallows and Anderson win, I believe. I was giving it half of my attention. No, I was giving it none. But then we got to the actual show, and it kicked off with the women's Elimination Chamber match. A lot of not botches, but just sloppy. A lot of sloppy stuff in here. A lot of strikes that didn't look very believable. A lot of action. I mean, Mickie James went on top of the pod, and the crowd were right behind her. But then what came when she jumped off was this double knee thing, which just didn't look that impressive. I don't know if it was the camera angles or whatever it was, but she was right up there playing to the crowd, and it ended up her hopping down kind of a thing. You compare that to what Seth Rollins did in the men's Elimination Chamber match. He proper frog splash like this. Woo! He went for it. And she needed to go for it. I understand, that she's not really known for being a high flyer. Certainly not on the level that Seth Rollins is. And, all credit to her for giving it a go. And giving us a moment. But I think for me that was the difference between the women's match and the men's match, was that yes, the women were trying and they were going for it, but they couldn't match some of the spots that the men were delivering. It's not really meant as a comparison, but I did feel that the women's match was sloppier, was a little bit just off timing wise. So obviously we had, the story of the match, if you will, was the Absolution, working together. They weren't too smart though, was they? Because really they should have got rid of Bayley, and then they should have been picking them off one by one. That wasn't the case. They ended up getting eliminated early. Mickie James was eliminated, and that was the first part of the match done. The second part of the match was when we had Bayley, Sasha Banks. Are they going to fall out? Kind of drama. They sort of did, but it wasn't big enough. It wasn't vicious enough. Sasha turns on Bayley, but I wanted more. I wanted it to be vicious. I wanted someone to turn heel, and neither of them did. Alexa Bliss wins. She clings on to that championship. She was the last person out of the pod. I thought she looked really good. I really liked her trying to escape Bayley and Sasha, because you didn't know what was going to happen when they finally got their hands on her. But yeah, that twisted Bliss off the top of the pod towards the end, absolutely fantastic. Into a bank statement as well. It was really, really cool. There were some great moments. The women did themselves proud. As I said, it just couldn't get to the level that the men's match got to. Once that was finished, we went off to the bar, taking on Titus Worldwide. That match was a little flat because obviously it just had to follow such a massive match. The bar retain, which literally surprises no one. But Titus Worldwide, did okay. They got their moments in. There was a few close calls for the bar. But, yeah, they retain those Raw Tag Team Championships. After that, I believe it was Asuka against Nia Jax. This was a decent match. Nia actually managed to power out of quite a few moves that Asuka applied. I think she powered out of an armbar, which I've not seen before. I cannot recall anyone literally picking up Asuka whilst in the armbar and driving her into the turnbuckles. Asuka was struggling to get some of the moves on, some of the locks on, submission holds because of the size of Nia Jax. There was some good psychology in there. Bottom line, a bit of a roll-up, but victory for Asuka. The streak remains. Nia is not in that match at WrestleMania. No idea what is going to be in store for her, because she deserves something. Don't know what's in store for Sasha Banks and Bayley, because I don't think they're going to do a one-on-one match for Sasha Banks and Bayley, because there's just not going to be time. So you'd think there might be some kind of women's ladder match, maybe? That's kind of what I'm thinking. They need some kind of match that's going to get a lot of women in it. I mean, maybe we have an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal for the men and then a separate one for the women. That's kind of the direction we're going, because they brought up so many women for the Royal Rumble, and then you've got the women for Elimination Chamber. What are you going to do when you get to WrestleMania? And, like, you've literally got not much room for, like, loads and loads of matches. So, it's a problem. But a nice problem to have. Not like a few years ago when literally everyone was injured. So, yeah, we had that match. After that, we had Woken Matt Hardy taking on Bray Wyatt. And, yeah, I kind of was into this. The crowd was into this. I wanted something a little bit more out there. Didn't really get anything out there. You know, lights went off. Bray didn't come out with the Fireflies or anything like that. He was in the ring, but when he appeared in the ring, Hardy was gone. Can't quite remember, but I think it was a twist of fate that won it for Matt Hardy. Or Woken Matt Hardy, I should say. But, yeah, it was a victory that he needed. It didn't really push anything along. It made me desperate to see some kind of final deletion video. I honestly thought when he disappeared we were going to get something like that, something on the screen that they'd done like without anyone finding out. Sadly, it wasn't to be. We just got a normal match. Woken, Matt Hardy won. This brought us to the main event, which was the men's 7-man Elimination Chamber match. First time there'd ever been 7 men in the match at the same time. Elias, I thought, did some great work actually at the start. Did a little song. I think he said, like, we're here in Las Vegas and you lot will be used to seeing your loved ones behind bars. And that obviously got a good reaction, a heel reaction, the kind of reaction that Elias should be getting. WWE stands for Walk with Elias. I'm really into that. I'm into the gimmick. He was obviously never going to win, but I think he did enough. They gave him that moment before the match, which was very important. It meant that it gave him a chance, a platform to actually do something. She knew he wouldn't do much during the match, and he didn't. Talking of someone that did, though, Braun Strowman eliminated everyone except for Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns wins the men's Elimination Chamber match. It started off with The Miz, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor. I was waiting all throughout for The Undertaker, who never showed, which was a shame. I really wanted him to turn up and take out John Cena. When that didn't happen, I thought maybe he's going to take out Braun Strowman. But that didn't happen either. I thought The Miz might come back and take out Braun Strowman. That didn't happen. Strowman did eliminate The Miz, but then he eliminated everyone. The rumour is that we're building towards Strowman and Miz at WrestleMania. I don't feel like much was kind of put in place for WrestleMania because of this match. Like, yes, Roman Reigns against Brock Lesnar, but we're none the wiser as to what Seth's doing, or what Finn's doing, or what Elias is doing, or what Strowman is doing, or what The Miz is doing. And actually, John Cena on Raw Talk was a broken man. But he was like, I might have to do things I've not done before, which is kind of conversation we've heard him say in the past, like teasing a heel turn. But maybe they go through with it now because, you know, he is working this part-time schedule. And, well, it's kind of a now or never moment, isn't it? So, I don't know. I'm not sure they will, but they could. They could. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with John Cena going forward. Moments from this match that I loved was, we've said, Seth Rollins coming off the top of the pod. I thought that was done really well. And then there was this great sequence where there was like a Shield power bomb to Strowman. Then I think he got speared, AA'd, curb stomped, coup de grace. They still couldn't put him away. They still could not put him away. It took like a million spears, a million Superman punches to finally put Strowman down. Strowman comes out of this just looking better than ever. Rollins comes out of it looking better than ever. You know, he was started the match and he was kind of in there still around the end of it. And this is on the back of that fantastic gauntlet performance. Finn doesn't come out of it looking any better. Elias, you know, never expected anything anyway. Miz, just kind of very heelish, took his chances when he could. So it did a job for a few people, but there's a few people that are going to need a big Raw. And we should see Ronda Rousey on Raw. We should get a few more answers. You know, what is going to happen with Strowman going forward? Apparently we get to a face-to-face. Lesnar, Roman Reigns will be face-to-face on Raw as well. So it is going to be a big Monday Night Raw. And that was it. I enjoyed the show. I don't think it was like an all-time classic or anything like that. Loved the Ronda Rousey segment. I thought there was enough there to make it very interesting. Women did well. Middle of the card was so-so. And then the men's Elimination Chamber match thought was enjoyable, but just a predictable ending, which kind of leaves it on a bit of a flat note. But hey, that's wrestling. If you enjoyed this review, then give it a like. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And hopefully, see you again next time. Bye for now.